Write this down. Most people don't want to be most people. Whenever you use the phrase most people, you put a desire in your audience to not become one of those people. Instead, they want to separate themselves from the most people pack. For example, what if I said to you, most speakers give speeches that get a good response, but masterful speakers give speeches that move their audiences to take action. Masterful speakers help change lives long after they've finished speaking, and that's why they get rehired time and time again. When I say this, do you leave and you think, I want to be like most speakers? Or do you think, what can I do to become a masterful speaker? Listen to how I've used the phrase most people to great effect.
Beijing Olympics is coming up, right? Yes. Have you ever seen track and field? Yes. Do you know what the real tragedy is if we take the track and field metaphor? Whether it comes to using your unique gifts or setting your guide or writing a book or doing whatever you want to do or living your dream, most people live their lives on get set. Right? They take their marks, they get ready, they get set, and they never go. And the sad part is most people die right here on get set. They take their dreams, their aspirations, their inventions, everything to the grave with them because they lived and they died on get set.
Welcome back. I've used those in one of my keynotes for many years, and they usually resonate deeply with my audiences. Why? This is because of one very important understanding that we have to have as speakers. Again, most people don't want to be most people. The words most people are extremely influential because if used correctly, they immediately create a comparison between something the audience members do not want to something that they do want. For example, once they get the message about most people living on get set, they immediately think, well, I'm not going to be one of them. In other words, they're saying, count me out of that most people category. Now, the most people strategy also works well with something I call the compare and contrast method for influencing your audience to take action. For example, for years, Zig Ziglar has compared being a wandering generality to being a meaningful specific. He talks about how most people are wandering generalities, but the most successful people are meaningful specifics. Well, what does that do to our minds when we're in his audience? Well, once we realize that most people are wandering generalities, we immediately desire to become a meaningful specific. And this works so well because it simultaneously moves us away from what we do not want, i.e., wandering generality, and moves us towards what we do want, i.e., meaningful specific. So this method pushes and pulls you at the same time. So here's a very important question for you to consider before your next speech. What two things can you compare and contrast, and which one do most people do? Now, you want one really good reason why you should use this speaking strategy? It's because most people won't. It's because most people won't.